All right, welcome back to the Elias Macco Show. Who's got a smart doorbell, one of those camera doorbells? Do you love it? When someone shows up at your door and maybe you get an alert on your phone, you get an image here, it's recording, saves you from porch pirates. It's becoming more and more common, right? These doorbell cameras. Love to know if you appreciate your doorbell camera. You can always send me a text at 514-790-0800. Now, the discussion we're going to have is, should that doorbell camera footage be used to fight crime? In Trois-Rivières, over 700 people have signed up for the police department's registry in that city to give them permission to access the images on request. Let's talk about this more with Steve Waterhouse, cybersecurity expert. He's on the line. Steve, welcome back to the show.
Hello, Elias.
So why don't you give us some more details here of just what exactly they're doing in Trois-Rivières and why it is piquing interest?
Well, it is for Quebec first, because across Canada you have the Safe Neighborhood Camera Registry that exists for quite a while and is asking the citizens to participate and reduce the judicial burden for police forces to get access to these images that more and more, like you said, cameras are popping up because we as citizens want to protect our own environment. But at the same time, you might catch let's say a car passing by or an individual going to commit a crime, but it passed into the field of vision of that camera. And by that, police will be able to know in that area where the crime happened, which camera are willfully participating in that program to permit police services to have access to these cameras on demand, not live, not connected directly to your system, but will phone you up, and an investigator with proper identification will come over and ask you to have access and download those pictures and those movies you're going to be catching.
Well, it's not lost to me. It seems like there's so many examples of high-profile cases where a murder or some other thing where they are they're doing exactly what you mentioned. They want to go, okay, this bad event happened here. Let's look at all of the roads that lead to that location. Let's get the camera footage and find out who drove on those roads in the hours preceding, right? And it's very sci-fi. The only difference here is it's the citizens' cameras, not ones put in by the state themselves on every corner. I don't know if you've got a thought or two on that. These are people's own cameras that are being used here.
Yeah, definitely. Compared to downtown Montreal, I mean, the city has a lot of cameras covering strategic places across the city. And I don't know if you visited London recently, but you have a lot of cameras covering each inches of the city. So we're not in that dystopia. We're really here demanding, or the police services are demanding the help of a neighborhood watch kind of approach. So by such, the initiative of the police service of Trois-Rivières, they just want to have a registry of all the people that willfully will permit these patrolmen to have access. So how they explain it is when a crime happens, investigators go into that area and they have access to that directory of all the people that has registered and are offering their feed. Now, that said, what I was also mentioning is when you permit these kind of access to some images, it is of private ownership. So that's why when they ask people to give access, they do not go to get a warrant to get access to it's somebody that just willfully give out these images. Now, if you're one that you're not comfortable with, you won't be sanctioned whatsoever because it's okay not to give it out. But if the police services need them, they will do the judiciary process and get to access to them if it's needed. But that said, it has been a success in many aspects of getting some more information to help solve a crime, to help condemn people. But at the same time, it could go to the other side and be not used, let's say, for a neutral approach, and abuse can be taken from it.
Well,
so that's what I was saying, Elias, is you need a committee of some sort to oversight this use of that kind of use. I mean, with the population support.
It is so interesting, right? Because you wonder about that abuse. Because it's one thing. I mean, like, who's going to argue? Hey, we need to catch the murderer. Okay, take my camera footage. But then, you go down the list here of like, well, what else would the police want to use that footage for? And like, how much information would they give you? Say, hey, you've signed up for this program. We'd like access to your footage. That could be the slippery slope.
It is. So that's why I say you need some oversight. If you have a doubt and you can challenge them, they can at least show their paper trail and show what they're really up to. But I doubt it's going to be to really entrap people, entrap citizens, and abusing. I'm all for this kind of use. But also, it has to be correctly explained, really shown to everyone, and especially have someone to talk to if they feel that no, they don't want to participate, they want to opt out. That's always has to be an option for everyone.
Let me ask you this, Steve. When I introduced you, I said, let's go to Steve Waterhouse, cybersecurity expert. Let me ask you, Steve, if you yourself have these doorbell cameras at your home.
Yes, I do, Elias. But I don't have one that is currently linked up to an outside storage. And if I would be participating in such a program, then they will have to ask me here on my premises to have access to those camera feeds. Now, you have in the U.S. Ring with Amazon, as you mentioned. Ring is one large consumer product out there, and it's being shown in the U.S. that police services are making deals with Amazon to have access directly to these feeds. So that's the difference between a recording of some sort of event that's you own, that you have, and that another consortium outside has somewhere on some cloud somewhere.
So are there brands? And I'm not trying to get you in hot water or anything, but are there like would you not trust certain brands because of corporate ownership and that kind of stuff?
Yes, definitely, because there's some with geopolitical reasons you don't want to get involved with.
Oh, there's all these Chinese brands as well, right? That's been flouted as a security risk.
But this is for national security, Elias. This is a risk for that level. But coming back down to our, let's say, neighborhood, it is really on a commercial basis that when you buy these cameras and they say, yes, you're going to have, you don't need a large disk space to hold these images, we'll hold them for you. Then you have you should verify about a business impact assessment or personal impact assessment, okay? If that company opens up their floodgates and give access to somebody else that you never know about, who is going to be watching these images? So there's always that risk if you do not have a hand on that information, somebody else does have that hand on it and will permit maybe somebody else to get access. So
let me. Sorry, finish your thought. Finish your thought, Steve.
No, I was about to say, just be sure that when you're going to be buying, and it's, of course, a whole bunch of questions, Elias. Nobody likes that, but we're in that day and age that you have to double check where it is and where it can lead you. So lead you to give out freely information, or can you have some sort of control?
And let me just read you, as we're talking here, the messages I've received from listeners. Right. One writes me this: 100% in favor of this program in Trois-Rivières, okay, regarding the doorbell cameras. It's about time. Police asked me for my footage after a crime. I handed it over with pleasure. Another listener says, my son's tires were slashed 2 nights ago. He was able to see on a neighbor's camera that it was one of our other neighbors that did it. And they ask what they should do now. I'm like, you got to go right to the police now with that footage if you've got that on video. And then one last listener who writes, I have a doorbell camera. It's the best thing ever. I was not at home. My doorbell camera showed 2 hooded young men looking into my house windows. When I spoke through the camera, they ran off. So, but another person says this is like the book 1984 times 100, and it's a horrible existence. So
It is. But you just mentioned it. I mean, you have the positive outcomes of such devices being present, of course, because the police services are not enough to patrol 24/7 in every street, as we saw 50 years ago. Unfortunately, they have to rely on cooperation, collaboration from the citizens, and technology will certainly help them out. But at a certain point, it can go, like I was saying,
it's tough.
sideways.
It's tough, right? Because like, well, you're not a criminal. What could you possibly want to hide? You know, and like,
that's always that $1,000 questions.
Yeah.
That one time you've done something that's outside of, let's say, the rule book.
Yeah.
It can chew you up.
You know, it's just like, okay, now they'll start using it to find out who put the trash on the wrong day. You know what I mean? Like,
something like that. Yeah.
Okay, Steve, listen, we got to leave it there. Thanks for your time.
Anytime. Cheers.
That's Steve Waterhouse, cybersecurity expert. When we return on the Elias Macko Show, a wonderful program that I wish I had growing up. English Montreal School Board offering a program for kids to learn how to ride a bike. That's in transit next.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.